All right, hi everyone. Thank you for joining our session tonight on community service at your chapter. My name is Gabriella. I'm the Council on Professional Issues Chair, and we really appreciate the time that you're taking out to listen to us present. Also, if you have any questions, please submit questions throughout the webinar and we will answer them at the end of the Q&A portion. So you're able to add your questions to the chat and we'll get to it, or you're free to ask it verbally at the end of the presentation.
I'm Dominique. I'm the Associate for the Council on Professional Issues. Thanks for coming, everybody.
And I'm Shivani. I'm also an associate for COPE this year, and we're going to have a great webinar tonight.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Murphy. I'm the Director of Membership for ASDA and the Staff Liaison for the Council on Professional Issues. We also have Dr. Karen Irani with us tonight. Dr. Irani, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Karen Irani. I'm a general practitioner in Los Angeles, California. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us tonight, Dr. Irani. We appreciate your time. So for tonight, we're going to discuss a few topics. So we'll discuss like the purpose of this webinar, along with major keys to make your local events successful, any resources that we will be able to provide, and also ideas from other programs. That way you can get like a fresh start for community events. So for today, we're excited to introduce national initiatives. And so you can go to the next slide. So we'll be discussing different national initiatives that we do, along with, again, different ideas of already established volunteer events, where I'm sure if there's an event that piques your interest, you're free to probably reach out to those districts. I'm sure they're always happy to share information. And then also other resources such as Give Kids a Smile, other webinars, and how-to guide. So if some of you are new to ASDA, you may not know this. For those who have been in ASDA for a while, you'll know that service month actually used to be only a week long. So last year was the first year we decided to change it to a month of service. The reason why is that sometimes only to have a week to do a volunteer event felt a little rushed. And this allows you to have more time to create an event and make it very successful without feeling like it needs to be all done in that week time frame. And then again, we have resources that we'll have during the service month in January. And so that will allow us to have them more spread apart so that it's not like a webinar back to back on the same week and you can't even attend it. So they'll be spread apart. And then also other initiatives are a month long. So I think community service deserves a little love and DEI. How come wellness and advocacy get a month and we didn't? So we changed it to a month. And then in previous years, you can go to the next slide. We had different level challenges for month of service. So there was an incisor level, a canine, and a molar. And each level, so like incisor, for example, was like the individual. You could sign up to get like newsletters or whatever from a local volunteer organization, and that would have gotten you into a raffle. With canine, it's coats and cans is what was done. So that was like for the chapter to win an award. And then there's the molar level challenges, which will also just be like your chapter being active in the community. And again, it's like a raffle for, so the canine was whoever was first, but molar is a raffle for the awards. And keep an eye out for the different prizes that'll be coming up, as well as if there's any changes to those level challenges for this upcoming year. And then I'll hand it to Dominique.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to go over the major keys on how to make your community service event successful. Next slide, please. All right, so the most important thing whenever you're planning any community service event is to work with your team. These events often take a lot of time and there's a lot of moving parts going on. So being able to work with your team and delegate these tasks will make everything so much easier. And the first part is just to kind of meet with your team, identify a project, start to hash out a plan, always have a budget in mind, and kind of choose maybe what organizations you want to work with and try and choose possible dates. Once you get all that set up, that's kind of like the preliminary stage. And then you want to, of course, start recruiting volunteers, get any event licenses that you might need, decide if which organizations you're going to work with, start coordinating with them. Personally, I think that's the hardest part is working with any kind of outside organization. And of course, getting your media together, you want to be able to advertise on social media so that people know what's going on, and getting any materials that you need. One important part that sometimes can get a little bit overlooked is to make sure that there's an orientation if that's necessary. Some volunteer organizations require the volunteers to do an orientation process first. So of course, always make sure that you have that kind of built in to make it as easy as possible for everyone. And of course, whenever it's time for the event, make sure you're communicating with your chapter, getting any transportation organized, especially if it's someplace a little bit further from your campus, or if it's like maybe not on a metro line. And then of course, at the very end, you want to thank everybody involved, especially with volunteer work. Thank yous are pretty much everything. Make sure you're thanking your team, you're thanking the volunteers who showed up, and of course, thanking any outside organizations that you worked with. And then finally, make sure that you're evaluating and keeping records for your events. This will make it so much easier if you want to redo it in the future, or if someone reaches out to you and asks, like, how do I do this at my school? It's very helpful to have everything already written down, like your steps. And of course, evaluation is always important to figure out what went well, what, could use improvement, and kind of make note of that, which can help you if you redo the event, but also just for learning in general. Like, oh, this person was super good at this task. Maybe I'll have them do it again for our next event or anything like that. Next slide, please. So now we're going to go into some ideas. So we found ideas that were really spectacular for community service from all of the districts. So let's see what some of our chapters are into. So the first one is, of course, District 1. We have Tufts. I worked on both these events. So one of the ideas was a blood drive. You can do it with the local Red Cross, or a lot of hospitals also have blood drive donation centers that you can coordinate with. Tufts also did Build a Jumbo, which was a event where we basically stuffed elephants, which was their school mascot, and donated them around Boston. So we worked with pediatric clinics, we worked with pediatric dental clinics at the school, we worked with social workers. So there's like a lot of different ways that these toys can be used, and they're donated around Boston for young kids. Next slide. For District 2, we have NYU. So they did an in-person outreach where they basically went into the community and set up dental screenings and oral health education. Next slide. For District 3, we have the University of Pittsburgh, Yale Pitt. And they basically did donations to local nonprofit groups fighting racial injustice in Pittsburgh. Any kind of donation event is really fun to coordinate. I've seen really cool takes on these where some people do bingo cards and like post them on social media and make it like a competition. So donations are a really fun event to do. Next slide. Then for District 4, we have UNC. They did a holiday food drive to donate to a local shelter. Next slide. For District 5, we have UAB. They did the Miles for Smiles, which was a fundraiser and wellness event that benefited a local healthcare organization. Slide. For District 6, we have West Virginia, which made Valentine's Day cards for a local senior living facility. Another spin on this would be if you wanted to do a veterans organization or make cards for those who are incarcerated. Next slide. And then finally, District 7 is Marquette, and they promote volunteerism at local animal shelters. Next slide.
Alrighty, and then next we're highlighting Iowa for their service event at an elementary school science night, where they were able to educate students and families on oral hygiene, do oral hygiene screenings, as well as topical fluoride application, give away goodie bags, and really just encourage the local community to pursue careers in dentistry. Next slide. And then for District 9, we're highlighting San Antonio. So they did a river and waterways community cleanup effort at Zarzamora Creek, close to where their dental school is located. So in the case of this kind of event, they had buses and things like that as well, and carpool and transportation. So it was a good example of how everyone can kind of come together to help each other put on an event. And District 10, Roseman, they did an event called Recovery on Redwood, where they went to a local community center to prepare and serve meals to residents undergoing recovery and detoxification. And finally, District 11, Loma Linda, had a community outreach event at a local nursing home where they were able to educate residents there on oral hygiene. Alrighty, and the last sort of portion of this part of our PowerPoint slide is about resources and where you can find help on ASDA's website. So next slide. So if you go to the ASDA website here, we want you to go ahead and click on programs and events up there, highlighted in green at the top of the panel. And under the Community Outreach and Community Service tab, click on Service Month, which will take you not only to the community outreach page, but also the page highlighting Service Month, which Gabby was talking about earlier, that we celebrate in January. And on this page are different resources, including, if you want to go to the next slide, a community service how-to guide, which is a guide that has checklists and planning pages to help plan your chapter service event. We also have past recorded webinars, oral health instructional resources like lesson plans and templates, and links to contour articles about service written by your fellow students. So definitely check that out whenever you can. And then we'll go on to the next slide. And this slide has resources for the Give Kids a Smile organization as well. And they have different things on their site in terms of planning an event regarding that. Alrighty, and then next slide, we are going to introduce our speaker, Dr. Karen Irani. Dr. Irani is a general dentist in Los Angeles, California, and serves as the 13th District Trustee to the American Dental Association. She has served as chair of the ADA Council on Membership and the California Dental Association's Leadership Development Committee. She was also a trustee of the CDA and a past president of the San Fernando Valley Dental Association. Dr. Irani received her dental degree from the Herman Ostrow School of Dentistry at the University of Southern California in 2003, and she's a co-founder of Veterans Smile Day, which is a nonprofit organization providing free dental care to veterans nationwide. Veterans Smiles Day draws over 300 dentists nationwide to provide $300,000 worth of free dental treatment to nearly 2,000 U.S. veterans annually. So without further ado, we'll have Dr. Irani take it away.
Thank you so much, Shivani, for this introduction. And of course, my dog chooses right now to be obnoxious and starts barking. So, so I had to grab him so he stops barking. Sorry about that. So again, thank you so much for having me today. It is such a pleasure talking with all of you. I wish I could see you. And this is always a pleasure talking with the students because, you know, helping the community has been my passion since I started and graduated from dental school. You have on this slide, you have my personal email and my phone number. So I'm always available for any questions you have, text me, anything you need, just don't hesitate to contact me. That's the best way to get to me. Next slide, please, thank you. So today there's two projects that are under the ADA Foundation programs that I would like to talk to you about and give you some information if you're interested to participate in and get your schools more active about helping the community. The first one is Give Kids a Smile. I think a lot of the students are familiar with it. It's more than 22 years old. And over the time, you know, it has had a good reputation. People have been participating, either private dental offices or even schools or communities. Next slide, please. Oh, I see Adam Yang is here. Hi, Adam. So nice to see you. All right, some more information about Give Kids a Smile. When you guys just sign up for it, you do receive some material like toothbrushes, toothpaste that you can distribute. Most of the time, what we do in the community, we go and we do screening, and then we invite the patients. Either we refer them, if we see visual cavities, we refer them to doctors who can help them in the community, or sometimes we refer them to the university. So it's a great way for the students and for the universities to get patients, because most of the time they come not only to the pedo department, but also the parents become patients of the school. So it is a great way to screen patients. So you would like to do that. Next slide, please. And if you need any promotional information, any guides, any planning information, just don't hesitate to contact the adafoundation.org. You can get information and all the material that you need and apply for the material. Like I said, you would have toothbrushes, toothpaste, plastic mouth mirrors, even like gloves and everything that they provide you. Next, please. And this is a program that is very near and dear to my heart. Many of you may know that I'm a military brat. So I always say, I have been working with veterans since I was born, because yes, my dad was in the military. So, and then I got involved about a few years ago because, as many people, I was not aware that the veterans do not receive dental benefits. I always thought they get the best, health benefits and dental benefits, until one of my friends, who was my classmate at USC, contacted me a few years ago, and he said, veterans don't get dental benefits. And I was not aware of that because, of course, my dad has had the best dentist. So that's when I found out, and I started our own program after about a year that is called Veterans Smile Day. But also I wanted ADA to get involved. At the time, the foundation was too busy with other projects. They could not sponsor us. But finally, a few years ago, the foundation has started a Veteran Summit. They look at different programs, and they're doing a combined project that kind of embodies the best of each program. Next slide, please. So we're trying to kind of imitate the Give Kids a Smile, and it's called the Give Veterans a Smile. This program, our program, for example, we do it around Veterans Day. And the good thing about it is that we allow the dentists to work in their offices. So many of you might be familiar with programs like MOM, Mission of Mercy, or other programs that are like a one-day program, and they go to a big venue like a stadium or something, and the patients show up. You work on the patients as much as you can, and then you never see the patient again. What we have created, and the ADA program also, is that you would actually participate in your own office. You get to see the patients using your own instruments, so it's much, much more comfortable for the doctors. What we have done, we had sponsors from day one. Henry Schein, Procter & Gamble, Ultradent became our sponsors. So they send us supplies, anything from patient bibs to composite to anesthetic, anything that we order from them. Literally, they have been very, very supportive. And they send it to us. The agreement that I have personally with them is that they were like, it's too hard for us to send the supplies to every single office. So I told them, okay, ship them to us and we make packages. So the first time we got the shipment, I had them delivered to the dental society, my local dental society, and they called me and they were like, oh my God, Dr. Irani, we have like 10 crates of supplies. What are we gonna do with it? So we spent almost 2 weeks of making packages and send it to the doctors. Again, our program, we started about 30 doctors, and right before COVID, we were over 2,000 doctors, and we were able to see 3,000 to 5,000 veterans on a one-day program. We can do anything from exams, and again, I want to be very flexible with the doctors, so make it easy for them to participate. I tell them, you want to just do cleanings? Just do cleanings. You're able to do root canals? Why not? So the doctors, basically veterans, know that they would receive whatever service that is possible that day. But if it's ongoing services, like for example, if a root canal is done and then they need a crown on it, many of the doctors, either they refer them to a doctor who would be volunteering to do it, or the universities at a low cost. Or sometimes, like for example, I do it for free, but other doctors, they tell the veterans just pay for this for the lab fee or something like that. And you can't believe how rewarding it is. You know, I had patients that were missing front teeth, and once I do, I mean, I don't do like very complicated. I just made like a flipper, and this veteran, she was in her 40s and she couldn't find a job, and she came back, she had a job, she was so happy, she went to an interview. And the misconception about the veterans has always been that a lot of the doctors, they feel like the veterans are homeless. A lot of times they are not. They just don't have the means to seek dental care. And we actually receive a lot of young veterans. In the 11 years that I have been doing this, I see a lot of young students, like college students, who just finished their services and they're going to college. And when I sit with them, the first question I ask them is, how are you doing? Because I know they just came back from a tour in Iraq or Afghanistan or somewhere like that, and I know what they went through. So just saying that and holding their hand, the relationship that you make, it's so valuable, not only to them, but also to you. So I highly recommend you guys to participate in these programs. Next slide, please. So again, ADA, now the foundation is taking these programs under their wing, and it is great because my effort from the beginning has been to create advocacy for veterans, to make their needs more known to the public and the legislation, so they can help them a lot more. And if we can get all the programs under one umbrella, under the ADA Foundation umbrella, that would help. So if you guys need any more information, you can either contact the adafoundation.org or contact me, and I put you in touch with them. And it would be great if you start creating programs like this at your school, but also get your faculty involved or get your public health department involved. Also for the Give Kids a Smile, if you can get the pedo department involved. So there is continuity after you graduate, because you know you're going to be there for a little while. By the time you start something, you're graduating, you're moving on. But if a faculty takes these programs under their wing, they continue, so the incoming students are aware of it too. Next slide, please. So again, this year, it's the launch of the ADA Foundation at the SmileCon, Give Veterans a Smile. And we're having a gala. It's going to be some surprise guests who are going to come in, and we're going to be talk about some of the senators. This is a passion. Once you get into this, you find out that so many people care about the veterans and they want to participate. So there are some legislators who are going to come to the SmileCon. There's a happy hour. So I was told to tell you guys, if you want to come to the happy hour, just let us know. We get you in at the SmileCon, so you will get to meet some of the people who are participating and organizing these programs, and you know, networking a lot and getting to meet some people. Next slide, please. And again, this is the QR code for the ADA if you like to donate, but I usually have a hard time asking people for money. So especially students, you know, for me, just giving the service, providing service for the veterans is the best thing that you can do. But if you want to share the QR code with anybody else that they want to donate to the veterans, I always say everybody can give one day to people who volunteer to give their life. And usually when you say that, people get it and they want to volunteer. So again, thank you so much for having me, and don't hesitate to reach out to me. And if you have any questions or any information that you need, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Irani, for speaking with us tonight. I'm sure everyone truly appreciates your time and is excited for the Give Veterans a Smile. I am also a military brat myself. My dad's in the Air Force. He did over 30 years. He actually retired, I think, 2 years ago. So I have a lot of respect for the military. I won't be joining it, but I still love them.
Exactly. So your dad is like my dad. He's gonna have the best dentist, right?
Yep, pretty much. He convinced my siblings though, so they're in the military, but I'm here. But yeah, we truly appreciate your time. And if you can, and then if you guys need the email, I don't know if you could go back real quick, Sarah, there's the email for other questions related to Give Veterans a Smile. And I hope everyone takes the time, if they're able to attend the ADA's big convention. So, and then if you can go to the next slide. So for Service Month, please make sure you check out, just as Shivani had mentioned earlier on the website, how to get to it. There you'll have other small ideas, each of these tabs here, such as using your hands, using your smarts. Each of those also have different examples outside of the ones that other districts have shown and done. So please take a moment to look at that if you're ever having a moment to, like, if you're struggling to figure out an event for your chapter. And then also this webinar will be posted onto the website as well, so everyone will have access to it. So those who didn't attend, feel free to share with your friends that it'll be posted. And then if you can go to the next slide. And if you're not in the GroupMe, I recommend you join it. So here's the QR code for it. In this GroupMe, we use it to communicate with other leaders. It doesn't have to be, you don't even have to be a leader. You could be just an ASDA member. So feel free to share it with friends. If you just want to find a space of where people love community service and DE&I initiatives, then we'd love to have you all join in. There we'll have monthly questions to interact. So if you ever see one of us Copy admin put a question, please feel free to answer. It's not going to always be about service. It could be something silly, with October coming up, maybe something like Halloween related, not sure, just depends on who's posting the question. And then that's also a place where you can learn about different initiatives that are going on. So if there is another webinar coming up or some other event going on, then we'll put it into the chat. We do have an event for D&I and for that week, so we'll have some panelists, so please stay tuned on the Dental Students Instagram. They'll be posting about it. We'll also put it in this GroupMe. We also put in a link for DEI spotlights. So every month or so, there's always some sort of celebration going on. And so please feel free to share the link to anyone that you feel like would love to be highlighted for Dental Students Instagram. And if you have any questions about anything related to community service or just anything about your chapter, feel free to put in the chat. It's not going to be just us responding. Other chapter leaders may have answers for you, and they'll be able to answer those questions for you as well. So it's just a space for us to communicate with each other from across the US. And again, thank you guys for your time. Does anyone have any questions? Again, feel free to add it to the Q&A questions. It could be for either us or Dr. Irani. I'll give you guys a few minutes to see if you want to ask any questions. Well, if we don't have any questions, that's totally okay. Maybe you don't have any for now, but thank you guys all for joining us tonight. We'll be sending out a recording to everyone and we'll post it on the website. So thank you guys and have a great evening.
Thank you.